Ryan McGuire, welcome to the Tiny Bench, man.
I'm excited to be here. This is great.
Dude, this is long overdue.
Yeah.
I have a ton of questions for you. We're not going to get into them all today, but you've done some really cool stuff since I've known you. And you do cool things, and I flat out don't totally know what all you do. So let's start with, you lead some outdoor education stuff. What all do you do there, and how did you get into that?
Yeah, so one of my passions in life is kind of based around nature connection and wilderness skills. So I've got my own little outfit called Wild Ride Outdoors, and then I've also worked for a variety of schools across the country. And this year we'll be focusing, I've kind of done courses all over the country, but this year it's going to be mainly in Colorado. So just for an example, one of the courses we're setting up right now for next year is actually a primitive running course. So students will learn how to run and move through the wilderness with less gear. So you'll be wild camping, living in the backcountry, running as a tribe with very minimalist gear. So maybe a knife, a piece of cloth, just a little small ration of food, and move ultralight through the land. And
Dude, that's cool.
yeah, that's kind of the premise, is a lot of these courses are just about knowing more and carrying less.
Yeah. So are you hunting along the way and foraging food there?
Yeah, so definitely doing a lot of foraging, tracking, and depending on the season, we can incorporate some hunting or trapping or fishing, but you're always kind of working with local rules and regs when it comes to taking the life of an animal.
Okay,
So,
got it. All right, total gear shift.
cool.
Assault fitness.
Yes.
This bench is probably the most concentrated experts in assault fitness in the world.
Oh my god.
So we really haven't talked much about it, so I want to dig into this.
Yeah.
24-hour assault bike world record holder.
Yeah.
How far did you get?
426.9 miles.
126.9 miles. That's insane. So I obviously did the assault runner world record not too many months before you did yours, and I know what I went through.
Yeah.
The mental and spiritual journey that it took to get from hour 1 to hour 24. So, what was the lowest moment of your entire 24 hours? Let's start there, and then I'm gonna have a follow-up question for that.
Yeah, so, well, I guess I'll give you two there. One, I was actually scouting for a wilderness trip, and we were out in the snow, and I basically got like frostbite on both my feet, and I couldn't walk at all. So like the lowest point was kind of before the assault runner, and I realized that the assault runner was kind of the only thing the assault bike was like the only thing I could do that didn't hurt my feet. So then I was like, all right, let's go break the world record because I have nothing else to do. And so during the actual attempt, the lowest part was I actually got like a distended stomach because in the beginning I was taking in a bunch of salt, but I wasn't sweating yet. Like I was kind of just getting into my rhythm. I wasn't really working that hard in the beginning, and my stomach got huge. And this is kind of a funny story, but we're just gonna go for it. I kept farting, and that was like a really good release. And my pants were wet because I had been on a bike for 12 hours and I was sweating, and I thought I had shit myself. I got off, and I hadn't. So I was like, okay, we're good.
Nice surprise.
It's just sweat.
Usually
I'm
it's
like,
the other way.
I was like, this is great. And then it happened more. The stomach pain started going away and releasing, and I was like, okay, I already know I didn't shit myself. I did this like an hour ago. It's just sweat. And then I went in to do my break time, and it turned out I had shit myself. So I would say that was probably the lowest part, was the whole doing number two is unfortunate.
That's a tough one. And so I think of all these interviews, I'm always most fascinated with people that accomplish unbelievable things, the mindset that goes into overcoming those crazy difficult barriers. So what was your motto, mindset, mantra, whatever that got you back on the bike through that and got you to that 400 plus miles?
Yeah, I think one of the mantras I always use is "this too shall pass" for both good and bad, and that was something instilled really by my mother. It's like any good thing, like acknowledge it, and it's gonna pass eventually. Any bad thing, the same. But the one that I kept using on the assault bike was just stay in the fight. Like, especially with like a 24-hour event, it's so, you're always teetering on like, shoot, what am I doing here? Like, why don't I just give up? There's a million excuses your brain makes in order to escape to safety. And so I just kept telling myself, like, even if it's not going super great right now, just stay in the fight, stay in the fight. And with a 24-hour event, I split it up into, I need to hit this many miles per every single hour. And I just thought of it as like a 24-round boxing match. And I was like, just don't get knocked out. Just stay in the fight. Keep trying to win each round. And at the end, you'll have this like amalgamation, and that'll result into the success that we're looking for.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, time-based events where it is just stay in, keep moving, and you're making progress. And especially in a stationary event, you're always one step away from just being done.
Yeah,
like that.
So
I don't know about
quit.
you, but that I was like, oh my god, like I am a foot away from being off of this treadmill and being done. And like it's if you don't have a really strong mindset going into that, you would have been done before you even started.
For sure. I think also it's partially team. Like, sure, I was like the one pedaling, but I had an amazing crew, like making it foolproof for me and like having my back the whole time, making sure I didn't make a bunch of mistakes. I had other people like watching, they were biking at the same time. There was multiple people on that night because I had to have the Guinness spectators, like people I didn't really know. They would come, they would bike while I was biking as a witness, and a lot of them set their own personal record. Most
cool
people
that,
like
man?
They're like, yo, I just biked the furthest I've ever biked in my life, and I'm like, let's freaking go. Like,
I'm still connected with my Guinness spectators that I didn't know before it, but same deal, they were up on the treadmill next to me, and like still connected, still talk to some of them to this day. It's the community of these accomplishments is just amazing.
I can't believe that you did 24 hours on an assault runner. That sounds like the worst thing in the world. Like,
the bike sounds way worse to me.
Really?
Yeah,
dude. The assault runner sounds terrible.
I don't know. Did you have any like saddle sores or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I have this thing on my butt, like a raspberry that's still there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And this was 8 months ago?
Yeah, this was 8 months ago. I think it's just like a scar now.
It's yours now, man. That's just a memento.
I just get to keep it. But yeah, there was a lot of like, it kind of looked like my legs had been hit with a cheese grater.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was rough.
All right, congratulations, you just finished 100 miler.
Yeah, thank you.
You've done the assault bike, you've done bear crawled Mount Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
You've done some crazy things. What does the top of your bucket list look like?
Oh, for right now. Oh, that's a good question. So I've got some backcountry pushes coming up next year that I'm excited about. I'll be doing Leadville 100. I'm going to do a last man standing race in Australia.
Heck yeah.
And I'm going to be doing my I'm coining this thing. I think I told you maybe a bit about it, but the Mount Morrison Marathon. So essentially 7 laps up and down Mount Morrison.
And that would be like 14,000 feet of climbing, 15,000, something like that?
Yes, right around 14,000 feet of climbing in the span of 26 miles. So my goal is to make the hardest marathon in the world.
Dude.
And I feel like that would be pretty much it.
Yeah, I couldn't think of much worse than that, unless you're, going up and down Everest or something.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is like you can't really get it sanctioned, so this year we're just going to do it unofficially. A couple of us friends, you're invited if you feel like, man, I really want to torture myself.
It's going to be a strong maybe.
But just some different things this year. I'm doing a lot of like ultra endurance stuff. I'm also still doing the hybrid racing. I just got done with the workout for that. So been training and competing in High Rocks, which has been fun.
And winning, right?
I got second.
Oh, okay.
But, High Rocks is a good switch up because it's kind of a different energy system for me. It's a lot faster. It's like that 1 hour time domain, and it is amazing because unlike a lot of the ultra stuff or the backcountry pushes, it's very community based. So I really get to fill my cup in that way, where it's
Yep.
like I see people at the races that I know. It's like, that's my homie. Versus like ultras, it's kind of like you and maybe a couple crew members if you're lucky.
Yep.
And you better just suck it up and tough it out. So
Dude,
gotta have both.
I love to see it. I love to hear it. Keep up crushing stuff. It's so fun to follow you. What's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is ryan.quinn.mcguire.
All right, good follow. Does some crazy stuff. Appreciate you taking a minute and chatting with me on a tiny bench, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming, man.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.